Hey, what's up YouTube? Zoss Gaming here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be bringing you my competitive June 2020 Shaddoll Deck Profile for you guys. However, I am not alone. In today's video, I have the leader of a group that I have recently associated myself with, Team Soggy Froggy, the leader, Damian Elanese. What's up, bro?
Hey man, thanks for having me, and hello everybody, Soggy's team of North America. Currently, he's going to go through a Shaddoll build. This is going to be a combination of both of our ideas combined based on the resources he has.
Yep. So, just a couple warnings. One, this is a 45 card list, so if I do have a lot of cards in here, we were going for a 60 card build, but then we decided 45 card is still good because 60 cards can cause a lot of bricks. And also, this is not full power. There are obviously better options. There is no side deck here. So, you can do with the deck as you see fit if you want to net deck off of main, but this is with the resources I had. So, getting right into the profile, starting off, we have 3 copies of our main boy, Shaddoll Squamata. Shaddoll Squamata, when he is flipped summoned, you can bounce a card on your opponent's field back to the hand. Or when he is sent to grave by card effect, you can send a Shaddoll card from your deck to your grave. So he is our main combo starter. He can send the cards from deck to grave to help trigger off our Shaddoll effects. Second, we have Shaddoll Hedgehog. What Shaddoll Hedgehog does is when he is flip summoned, you can add a Shaddoll spell from deck to hand. When he is sent to grave by card effect, you can add a Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. So he is our searcher. Then we have 3 copies of Shaddoll Falco. Shaddoll Falco, when he is flip summoned, special summons a Shaddoll monster from the graveyard in face down defense position. And then when he is sent to graveyard by a card effect, he can special summon himself in face down defense. So he's great for reviving our other Shaddoll cards. Damian, I'm going to leave the rest of the monster explaining to you after these Shaddolls. So moving on, we have 2 Shaddoll Beast. I do highly recommend you run 3 Shaddoll Beasts in this build. I only had 2 Shaddoll Beasts, and thanks to my friend Damian working over at Team Soggy Froggy, I am going to have a lot more cards to help boost this build further. I will have more cards such as Wendy, Ariel, and I will even get myself an extra beast. So this deck may see an updated deck profile sometime in the future. But continuing on with the explanation, Shaddoll Beast, when he is flip summoned, Shaddoll Beast allows us to draw 2 cards from the deck and then discard 1. So it is a minimized, sort of more nerfed, graceful charity. And then when he is sent to grave by card effect, he allows us to draw 1 card.
A good part of Shaddoll Beast as well, though, is that the draw 2, discard 1, the discard 1 is actually an effect, not cost. So if you discard a Shaddoll, you'll be able to gain its effect.
Which is really useful when comboing off. Then, for our 2 regular Shaddolls, we have 2 copies of Shaddoll Dragon. This is the one you want to run it to. This is the Shaddoll you want to run it to. When Shaddoll Dragon is flip summoned, you can target 1 monster on your opponent's side of the field and pop it. When it is sent to grave by card effect.
When it's flipped, it actually returns any card on the field to the hand.
Ooh, yes, that is correct. My apologies. It bounces a card back to the hand. And then when it is sent to grave, you can target 1 Spiral Trap card on the field and pop it. So it's really nice for removing those pesky back row on your opponent's side of the field. So for the rest of the monsters, we have 1 Re-Shaddoll Wendy and 1 Nail Shaddoll Ariel. Damian, I'm going to leave you to explain the rest.
So quite literally what a Wendy is, it's basically your summon from deck, and regardless of what it is, it will summon from deck. He will be upgrading both of these to the quantity of 3 once he receives this card. Ariel is good for the combo effect, stating that it can return a banished Shaddoll. So if you get rid of a card off Allure of Darkness, or if you get rid of a card off Red Shaddoll Incarnation, you can combo it with Ariel to special summon it back.
Just like you said, it is perfect. Amazing for the deck. You want to run 3 Ariel, 3 Wendy. You want to try to run 3 of all your Shaddoll monsters, except for Dragon and Hound. Hound is an optional 1 of in the deck. It can be an optional 2 of. It's not really good. It's not really a good choice, but everything else, good 3 of. Dragon is a good, solid 2 of. Next up, we have 3 Mathman. What does Mathman do?
Mathman is basically just Foolish Burial for level 4 or lower. A tip though, if you will not be able to send Beast, however you can send Squamata, then send Beast.
Yep.
If Mathman will be destroyed by battle, it is a free +1.
Free +1s, always beneficial. Next up, we have for a small performance engine. Again, thanks to Team Soggy Froggy, I will be getting a boost to this deck. So maybe in the future, I will be getting more additions to this engine. But for now, we have the 1 copy of Performance Damage Juggler and the 2 copies of Performance Trick Clown.
And Trick Clown is basically just your self-revival, and Damage Juggler would search Trick Clown. I recommend after he gets his boost from cards from Team Soggy Froggy that you swap your ratio. So you can go maybe 2 or 3 Juggler and like 1 Trick Clown, because you'll search it and you'll always combo off.
Yep. Next up, for the last monster of the deck, we have ourselves Armageddon Knight.
I feel Armageddon Knight needs no explanation, considering how many people are running it in high viable decks, and it's a good thing that it's limited.
Yes.
It's Foolish Burial.
Just Foolish Burial for Darks. Next up for the spells, we have 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. This card is a mandatory 3 of, especially when playing so many resources. It is great to see this card in your opening hand. It is a great combo starter, and it is also great mid combo. It is also a great going second card, especially because your opponent, like my friend Damien here, we just had a couple of test rounds, and when I went second, I was able to benefit off of Shaddoll Fusion's second effect of being able to fusion summon using monsters in the deck, since he was able to get himself some extra deck cards onto the field. And then, next up, we have 3 copies of El Shaddoll Fusion. El Shaddoll Fusion is a really nice card because it is not like Shaddoll Fusion where it cannot only be activated. Well, it can only be activated once per turn. However, it uses monsters from the hand and or field, and it is also a cloak by spell, so you can activate it on your opponent's turn to get the fusion summon you need.
A simple combo with that would be to summon Winda during their standby phase, or if they activate some kind of special summon card. This way, it locks them out of their 1 summon.
Next up, for the rest of the spells, we have 3 copies of Super Polymerization. This card is really good. Once again, my cards from Soggy Froggy, I have a Starving Venom and a Rafflesia coming in from them, or they're holding it on to me yet. I still have to send them in cards to obtain my credit, so that way I can earn the cards from Soggy Froggy. But once I get my cards from Soggy Froggy, Super Polymerization will be a lot more viable in the deck, because I will have Super Poly targets like Starving Venom and Dragos Tapelia. However, there are some really good Super Poly targets in the deck already, and Super Poly is just a nice board breaker, especially in today's meta. Next up, for the rest of the spells, I keep saying that, the next spell, we have 2 copies of Nefe Shaddoll Fusion. I feel like running this card at 2 is really nice because you will run out of resources eventually, and the ability to just change your attributes in hand is very useful, especially when you want to make those attribute-specific fusion monsters, such as Grista or Shekanaga, or if you need to make yourself an Apcolone really quick, then that will be useful as well. Then we have the 1 Insta Fusion. Not only is this card limited, but this card is really great. This card is really great to use, as it can bring out our El Shaddoll Winda, and it can bring out other instant fusion targets if we choose to have them in the deck. But it is really great for bringing out Winda for that turn to lock your opponent out of their special summons, or to prevent your opponent from Nibiruing you. Say Winda is like your 5th summon. You use instant fusion, bring out Winda as your 5th summon. They cannot Nibiru you, and you just got a successful fusion summon and a free monster in grave. Next up, we have 3 copies of Twin Twisters. We all know how heavy back row is in this game. Back row is one of the biggest problems in today's metagame, so you want to make sure you have cards that can help deal with these back row, which is why we run cards like Shaddoll Dragon and Twin Twisters. There are much better options than Twin Twisters, but this is the option I had with the resources I had available to me. So 3 copies of Twin Twisters, not a bad card at all. Then for the rest of the spells, we have 1 copy of Allure of Darkness, 1 copy of Pot of Avarice, 1 copy of Monster Reborn, and 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Allure of Darkness is essentially our draw 2 for the deck. We get to draw 2 cards and then banish a dark, and if there is no dark for us to banish, our whole hand is sent to the grave. Then Pot of Avarice is really nice in recurring resources from the grave. As with Pot of Avarice, you target 5 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them back into the deck, and then draw 2 cards. So it is a really nice, it's a good way to recur your resources. Monster Reborn, special summon from grave. Almost every deck uses this card. At least almost every deck can run this card perfectly. It is limited for a reason, because you can take any monster from your opponent's graveyard or yours. So if you and your opponent are having a mirror match, Monster Reborn is really great. And then Foolish Burial sends a monster from deck to graveyard. When we were saying Armageddon Knight was the Foolish Burial for Darks, this is the generic Foolish Burial. This can send any monster from the deck to the grave, so this helps us get our Shaddoll's effects off. Then for the traps, and rounding off the main deck, we have 2 copies of Resh Shaddoll Incarnation. Damien, I'm going to go ahead and let you explain what these last 2 cards do.
So Resh Shaddoll Incarnation is a monster reborn, but it can set cards face down, so that can give you like setting Beast and spamming it. It has the secondary effect of banishing it and a Shaddoll card to either flip face up or face down a Shaddoll card. And it is a trap card while engraved, so it's supposed to be tuned, so you may activate it during your opponent's turn if it was not sent there via its effect this turn.
Yep. And then for the last 2 trap cards, we have 2 copies of Shaddoll Core. This card is simply splendid. Not only does it substitute itself as a fusion summon for one of your Shaddoll fusion monsters, so say if you were lacking the material, say for Wenda or for Construct, you can use Core as a substitution for that material. And also Core is a level 9, so that way you can use it to make True King of All Calamities. Really good card. And then also Shaddoll Core has the secondary effect of when it is sent to grave by card effect, you can add a Shaddoll spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand. So that is it for the main deck, 45 card main, and we do have a 15 card extra deck. So for the extra deck, we have 3 copies of El Shaddoll Wenda. This card is simply beautiful. And then for one of our Wendas, we have the original artwork, and then for the other 2 Wendas, we have the alternate artwork, because alternate artwork is budget. Regular artwork can be expensive, depending on which rarity you go for. El Shaddoll Wenda, she is a level 5. She is a really good instant fusion target, super poly target. She is just perfect for almost any time you want to lock your opponent out of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Essentially. What Wenda does is she has to be fusion summoned first. She cannot be special summoned from the extra deck, or she cannot be sent to the graveyard from the extra deck and special summoned. She must first be fusion summoned, and while she is on the field, she cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, each player can only special summon monsters once per turn. And then when she is sent to graveyard, she can add a Shaddoll spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand.
And all Shaddoll fusion monsters have that last effect, except Cologne has the additional effect of searching and then discarding.
Yep. Next up, we have 3 copies of El Shaddoll Construct. This card is simply amazing. When this card is fusion summoned, you can send one Shaddoll card from your deck to your graveyard, so you can send either Shaddoll spell or trap, or send a card such as Shaddoll Squamata to combo off your Shaddoll plays. Also, during the battle phase, when she declares an attack on a special summon monster, you can immediately destroy that monster. However, you do not get replay. You do not get to replay the battle, as that is on attack declaration. And it has that effect of when it is sent to grave, you get to add a Shaddoll spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand. Next up, we have 2 copies of El Shaddoll Apkallone. El Shaddoll Apkallone, when she's fusion summoned, she gets to negate the effect of one monster on board. She gets to negate the effects of any monster on board, and she cannot be destroyed in battle. And
any face-up card.
Any face-up card. She gets the effects of any face-up card. And then when she is sent to grave, you get to add a Shaddoll card from deck to hand, and then discard 1 card.
Or graveyard tap.
Or graveyard. Next up, for the one-ofs of the fusions, we have the 1 El Shaddoll Grista. Salamangreats are still a competitive deck. They are still playing as a competitive deck. They are currently rogue. El Shaddoll Grista is a really great super poly target for when you're going up against her. And then El Shaddoll Shekanaga is a really good negate. That's really all you need to know about these 2. Next up, for the other monsters, we do run Xyz and Link monsters in here. We have one copy of Abyss Dweller and one copy of Daigusto Emerald. Daigusto Emerald is a smaller form of Pot of Avarice, as Abyss Dweller can prevent our opponent from activating card effects in the graveyard, so it'll stop opponent's graveyard plays. Then for the links, we have the one Cross Sheep, the one Nightmare Phoenix, and the one Borlo Dragon. Nightmare Phoenix helps us pop back row. Borlo Dragon, it does have the possibility of OTKing, but it's usually there just as a 3k beater and a link 4 if we need to get monsters into the graveyard. And Cross Sheep was a new card I got just today. This card came in the mail. I'm super glad that I was able to run it in this deck. What Cross Sheep does is, when a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, depending on what type of monster that monster is, you can activate these effects in sequence depending on what monsters it points to. So for its ritual, if it points to a ritual, when a monster special summoned to a zone it points to, you get to draw 2 cards, then discard 1, just like Shaddoll Beast. If it points to a fusion monster, you get to special summon 1 level 4 lower monster from your graveyard. If it is pointing to a synchro monster, all monsters you control gain 700 attack, and if it is a Xyz monster that it points to, your opponent's monsters lose 700 attack. So that is it for the deck. I thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I figured before we go, instead of just introducing you to Team Soggy Froggy, I figured my friend over here, Damien, can explain what Team Soggy Froggy is, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thank you. So Team Soggy Froggy is a new thing. We are also starting Team Soggy Froggy Trades, which Zalostic Gaming has partaken of, and numerous customers in certain areas. We are based in San Antonio, Texas. We do mail trades, mail offers. Currently, we take credit towards cards, and as long as a card has $5 or more value, we're willing to take it in for credit. A lot of vendors and card stores want specific cards, and they only do like 60% and like 50% cash. So when we have PayPal up and running, we'll be doing 60% cash, and currently we're doing 70 to 80% credit towards any of our items. And currently we have sealed products, and we also have singles, and singles will be sent according to their price. And there will also be Team Soggy Froggy Trades tournament being hosted. You don't need any credit with us. It will be a free entry. It will either be video duel or online, has yet to be decided, but top majority of players will receive credit as prizing.
Yep. And I have decided to go ahead and enter into the tournament, and thanks to Team Soggy Froggy, I will be getting a plethora of cards that will help not only boost this deck, but boost my other decks. If you do not mind, please do go ahead and explain to the viewers what cards I am going to be getting to boost this deck.
So currently we have some cards on reserve. He will be getting some Shaddoll Wendy. He will be getting Aerials. Some more cards would be such as Shaddoll Incarnation, Parallel Exceed, and Starving Venom, Proxy F, and basic other cards. And the reason he did this, he simply is offering little cards he no longer needs, and we chalk it up so that the majority pays for whatever he needs.
Yep. Alright, well, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do be sure, before we go, please do be sure to check out the link in the description below. That will be the link to Team Soggy Froggy's Facebook page. Also, there will be another link which will allow you to check out my Patreon if you want to contribute to the channel more than just watching my videos daily as I upload them. Then Patreon is a great way. I have my beginning tier starting out at $5 a month. And also, if you want to, please be sure to hit a like on the video. Absolutely demolish that notification bell so that way you never miss a video by me. And if you are brand new, please do consider on hitting the subscribe button. We are 70 subscribers. We are 30 subscribers away from reaching 100. Let's break that 100 mark. I thank you guys so much for watching the video. This is Zalostic Gaming, signing out. Peace.